Hi guys, so let us see a new question from this series, which is to stimulate simple calculator that performs basic tasks such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division with special operations like computing x raised to y and x factorial. So we have to create a basic simple calculator consisting of these all operations. So we can create this simple calculator using two methods. First is using classes and stuff, or second directly taking an string or the equation as x plus y and then directly outputting the output. So let us see both the methods. So first of all, let us take this starter code, create a new file, save it as q6 q6 q6.py, save, pasting the starter code, and then let's take the class implementation first. So let's create a class calculator, and then define init pass. So basically, so in the init we can just print the message, else there is no any specific task to be done in the init function. So calculator initialized, so then we will create an function add. So define add and then print the output. So answer equal to, or we will directly addition is equal to the answer. So let's take answer equal to, so we will take variable arguments as args, and then directly answer equal to sum of args. So these variable arguments can be from the length 0 to n. So user can give any number of inputs to this add function, and then we will just calculate the sum of all the values. So let's initialize cal equal to new calculator, and then let's take small c. So cal dot add will take 1 2. Let's see whether it works or not. So we are getting so for each class we have to specify the self as it is required. So here basically the error was int takes 0 positional argument but 1 was given. So here int should always means classes in Python basically gives a self argument to each of the definition, to each of the method in the class. So self was not declared here, but it was given by the class, so it threw an error, so it threw an type error. So these all stuff you can see in the OPS lecture. I have created a separate video for the object oriented programming in Python and explain all this stuff. regarding classes in that. Links will be provided in the description. So let's now run this. So you can see calculator initialized and addition equal to 3. So let's take 3 plus 3 9, 9 plus 10 19, 19 plus 20 39. So let's see whether it works or not. 36. So yeah, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 30 36. And then if we provide no arguments, let's see what happens. So addition is 0. If we take 0 comma 1 1, if we take only 1, then also it is 1. So this was the working of add function. Similarly, now we have to define an subtract function. So let's take define sub, and similarly self is required, and then variable arguments. So then now we can't use directly the sum function. Let's check whether sub inbuilt function exists or not. If it's there, then good, else we will implement it. So subtraction equal to answer. So cal dot sub 100 minus 2. No, there doesn't exist any function called as sub. So we can do it manually. For e element or ele, or let's take I. For I in argument list, we will take an answer equal to answer minus equal I. So we would need to initialize answer equal to 0. So answer minus I. So let's check this. For I in args, so minus 1 not 2. So here subtraction, so here the subtraction would take only 2 arguments as a comma b, because one should be subtracted from another. So we have to print a minus b. So it is 98. So subtract would basically take 1 and 2 arguments. We can convert this add function to parameters only, but so here for the add function too, we can take the 2 parameters and then calculate its sum, but here we made it flexible to adjust according to the parameter sizes. But for the subtract, we have to define another logic as print the, as one has to provide the sign to, as one has to provide the operation 2 with itself. Means if we take the previous function, which is about the args, so here what we have to do, we have to basically sum only, but user has to sum args, but user has to provide sign. So 100 minus 2. So if we now run, it would also give 98. So that's 4. So it would be 96. Similarly, adding 100, again minus, subtracting 200, then running. So you can see minus 4, because 100 plus 100, 200 minus 200, 0, 0 minus 4, minus 4. So this could be an implementation or directly taking a and b and then doing that stuff. That could be too. So I will keep this, as I am keeping this calculator more flexible. So or you can directly add also. These two functions are doing the same stuff, just giving various thing. So we can add or subtract, or dependingly you can change the methods. So definition, and then now the multiplication function. So self comma arguments, answer equal to, so here I would need to take for I in range args, I in directly args arguments. We have to take answer and it would be initialized as 1, else it will provide an error. Multiply equal to I, and then print the answer. Mul equal to answer. So cal dot mul, then 100 into 300 into 45, 135, 13,500. Similarly for division 2 there would be an similar 2 parameter based approach, as one is divided by another. So divide, and can directly print the answer. A divided by b, we can return the float value, but for more neatness or similarity we will convert it into integer, and then a comma b. So cal dot div divide 100 by 50, so to return 2, instead of mul div. So now we can see division is 2. Similarly we can use factorial, self comma n. So we will only require single integer, and then we have to use the fact function. So you can see the implementation of factorial function explained in the sharpening skill series, in which there was a question called as small factorial. So I used recursion and iterative, both method, to show how the factorial function can be created. So you can reference that. So I will directly copy paste the question. So here is the factorial function. Let's copy this. Pasting this. So instead of return, print factorial is answer. So cal dot factorial of 5, it is 120. If we take 10 and 3628800. So I will explain the basic working, how this factorial works. For more depth you can see that sharpening skill video. So factorial is basically if we take any number n, then n factorial equal to n into n minus 1 factorial. So n factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 factorial, and then we know some basic standard factorials, which is 0 factorial equal to 1, and 1 factorial also equal to 1, and 1 factorial is also equal to 1. You can see 1 into 1 minus 1, which is 0, so 0 factorial is 1, then 1 factorial is also 1. So let's calculate some factorial. So let's take the example of 5 only. So 5 factorial is equal to 5 into 4 factorial, and 4 factorial would be 4 into 3 factorial, 3 factorial would be 3 into 2 factorial, 2 would be 2 into 1 factorial, and 1 factorial is equal to 1. So here 5 into 4, 5 4s are 20, 20 into 3 60, 62 is 120, 120 into 1 would give us 120. So therefore we got 120 as the output. You can see factorial is 120. So for this implementation we have taken a loop as n should be always greater than 0, because if it is greater than 0, so here we have took a while loop as we don't know when to stop. So we have given a condition that if n is greater than 0, then only perform this operation. So if n is greater than 0, it means 1 to infinity. So in that number we have to reduce it by 1 and multiply it to the answer. So after, when this condition is true, we multiply answer into n and then reduce n by n minus 1. So basically this is the factorial working. Now the next would be raised to. So def raised to, and then a self argument, self parameter, and then a comma b. So print a comma raised to comma b is equal to, it would be equal to a raised to b. This is an shorthand operation. So let's check using cal dot raised to 2 raised to 3. So 2 raised to 3 equal to 8. So 2 raised to 10, 1024. So we can also modify this function to become more flexible and take arguments. So args, variable length, variable arguments, and then what we can do for I in args, we can initialize answer equal to 1, and then answer equal to, we can initialize args 0 means the first element, and then answer equal to answer raised to I. So argument, first argument 2, and then for I in this, so we have to here accept the first element. So what we can do, args dot pop 1 means 0, the first index, we have to remove the first index and then run. So let's first print each line to see whether there are any errors. Let's comment this out. So tuple has no attribute pop, so arguments we are getting it as an pop. So args dot split, so what we can do, so we can directly modify this argument here. So we can directly modify the tuple. So args starting from 1 up to n. So we can do this. Let's print this too, and the original argument. So must be integer or slice. Tuple indices must be integer or slice, not tuple. So tuple do this. So tuple slices means here was in syntax error that I have provided comma, so it was throwing an error. So here now you can see it was 2 and 10. First the tuple was 2 and 10, but after we took the first element in the answer. So what I am basically trying to do is, if we get 3 output a comma b comma c, if we get 3 input, I am going to take a raised to b and this whole raised to c. So I am basically trying to do this stuff. So what we have to do, if we get 3 numbers, then take the first number in the answer. So I will take in the answer and then remove it from this list. Basically instead of saying remove, I am leaving it behind and taking the other all values using the slicing operation. So I am starting from the 1 index and up to the last index I am taking that tuple, not taking the first element. So I will iterate to that and answer would be raised to I. So let's comment this out. Let's take 2 raised to 2, which is 2 raised to 2 4. So I forgot to print. So print at last after the for loop. So print answer equal to, and then the answer. So 2 raised to 2 would be 4 and 4 raised to 2 would be 8. 4 raised to 2 16 and 16 raised to 2 would be 256. So now you would get 2 raised to 2 raised to 2 raised to 2. We can also modify this 2 raised to 3, which would give us 8 raised to 2, which is 64. So you can see 64. So we can modify this print values and stuff. I want to just show the basic operations how to perform. Hi guys, so in the last video we saw the first method of implementation, which was the class implementation, to implement a simple calculator which can perform simple operations such as add, subtract, multiplication, division, factorial and raise to. So similarly now we will see the second method of implementation using interactive method. Means user can interact with the code and he can he can give the equation as an input and we will solve that equation and print the answer to the output. So let's start the interactive implementation. So first of all we need to take the equation from the user. So let us take an variable equation and store it the input value. After that we will, let's for now just print the equation. So let's run this. Let's change the input to 9 plus 6. So let's run this file. So now you can see we got 9 plus 6. This is a string, and if we assume input a plus b or a operator b, for example if we assume the user always gives the input as equation equal to A operator B, means here can be any operator which can be plus, minus, division or multiplication. So what we can do in the simple terms, so if you know equation will always be in this format, we can separate these three elements by using equation dot split. Equation equal to equation dot split, and we will split by using this space. So we will get A operator and B in the as a three elements in a list. So let's print and see what we get. So we got like this. We have to specify spaces. So now we can see three separate elements. If I use 98, 600 and some big number, let's again run this. So you can see first element, second element, and an operator. So what we can do, we can concatenate this string. So we can convert that. So here now what we can do, we have to check whether which, so we have to check which operator is this in the second position. We have to check which operator are we getting, plus, minus, divide, multiplication or raise to or something. So what we have to do, we have to create some if else condition for that. First of all, we will convert equation, let's take a variable A and put the first element, and then B equal to the third element. So now we have separated the A and B. So what we will, we have to convert it into integer to perform calculation. So we got integer A and integer B, and then now we have to check which operator are we getting. So let's create an variable operator and put the equation element second. Element second means index 1. As index start from 0, we will get operator as equation 1. Then if operator equal to plus, then we have to print A plus B. Let's take a format statement we can get here. So let's just print the same addition equal to A plus B. So let's run this. If so, here EQU equation, I just gave EQ. So let's run this again. So you can see addition equal to this number. Let's take a simple value 9 plus 10. So let's comment this print. So you can see 10 plus 9, 19. So here in this case we always require the spaces. If we not provide any spaces, then we will get some errors. So you can see we will get some errors, as here equation means third element, index second, third element is not present, and we are trying to convert it into int. So here this all problem may occur, but this is one type of solution which you can code. And then to handle these errors, you can create some error handlers that you need to validate this, that it should be always in this format only, A space operator space B format. So you can do that stuff. Similarly, if to modify this, elif operator equal to minus, then we have to print subtraction. So you can do all this stuff. If I change this to minus 9 minus 10, so let's execute this. Minus 1, so it should be 10 minus 1. 100 minus 100 space minus 80. So you require space. So this is the biggest problem, that you need to always specify in this format only. And another method would be, in this similar case, interactive method, what we can do, we can take equation equal to input, and then there is a function called eval, which evaluates the given string. So this eval basically requires a string which should be in which can be anything which is supported in the Python. So basically we need to give an Python expression in this eval function and as a string, and it will convert that and execute that code. So basically we can also give print something. Let's take print hello. So if I run this, so you can see eval requires an argument, so eval equation. So now if I run this, you can see hello printed. Hello is printed due to this eval statement, and print none is printed as eval doesn't return anything, it just evaluates the equation. So if I directly write eval equation, then you will see only hello. So what does this eval does? It basically uses this string as an Python expression and executes it. So similarly we can calculate mathematics also, as we can calculate in Python. So 9 plus 10. So now if I execute this, I have to print that. So now print. So now we got 19. So I said eval doesn't return anything at the last time, it returned a none, but now it is returning some value. So basically eval evaluates this equation, means now this equation is 9 plus 10. So this 9 plus 10 value is then returned by the print. But when I use the print statement doesn't return anything. So we know print just execute as it puts the output to the console. So print doesn't return anything, so eval didn't return anything, it returned a none. So basically eval returns some values according to this value of the Python expression. So in this expression now we have done an calculation, so that value is stored in this eval and returned through this. But when I use the print hello, print function doesn't return anything, so it returns a none. So therefore eval returned a none. So eval basically returns something, but as in the last case we used print hello, print function doesn't return anything. Its function is just to put the value to the output console. So print doesn't return anything, therefore eval returned the none statement. But now as we are doing some mathematical calculation, it returns some value and it is stored in this eval function, and it is returned in this eval function, not stored. So when we print this eval equation, it returns us the value. So if I again modify this equation, so let's see what happens. So you can see the whole expression is evaluated, means executed. So basically this equation is executed. So here there is no specific format it requires, we can give any number of spaces, then also answer will remain same. We can give any number of spaces, it doesn't requires any format, it just prints the answer as per the value. So 9 plus 19, so we can give any number of, so you can see 109 got printed. We can do anything, any Python operator can be used here in this eval. So let's take this, it would be a very large number because 100 raised to 390. So let's reduce this to 8. Let's run this. So now this is the output. So you can perform any calculation using brackets also. It will be solved first as plus some random values. So this is the simplest method. You can use some another value. So this is the simplest method as directly using the input and evaluating that equation. So it supports all the expression support in the Python, and it can easily, so we can flexibly use this function as user can input anything according to the Python. Just you have to specify that you should be correct in the Python format. Means raised to should be given in the, so raised to operator is basically asterisk asterisk, or if user provides this it will throw an error. So you can see that also. So this value is XOR. So you can see what is XOR function in the number systems and binary playlist. So there I have explained the AND, OR, NOT, XOR and all the operations. So this basically XORs and gives the, but in some cases we consider this as raised to value, but this value and this value differs as you can see by the output here. So if I run this, so now you can see change in output. So this all stuff you have to just maintain, otherwise this whole 2 lines of codes can do all the simple calculator function. So let's just use this code in our terminal so that we can interactively take the values. So let's first comment this out, as we are going to use this file in our terminal. So we don't need this class implementation. We require directly the equation equal to input. We'll take the input and then print the eval equation. So let's run this file here and maximize this size to be better clear. So Python 3, as I am using Python 3, and question6.py. So now it requires an input. So 9 plus 10, and you can see we got 19. So to make more interactive and get the messages, let's print input, enter equation, and then evaluate this. And before this, answer is, let's create this string and let's again run this in the terminal. So enter equation, we will enter 825 minus something plus 9, enter. So answer is 846. So it just asks only for one time. So to recursively ask for again and again the input after one input is given, we can use some code. So at first let's just print as calculator initialized, calculator started, to know the calculator function has started, and then we will ask for this equation. So we will create a while loop. So we don't know when to stop, so we will stop when user doesn't give any input and want to exit. So he clicks enter 2 times, means not giving any input. So while we will first of all keep the condition as true only, and then let's indent this, and we have to do this stuff again and again, and when we have to stop. So if equation equal to empty string, then we have to break, else we have to continue. So let's just run this file and see whether it works or not. So calculator started, enter an equation. So I entered something, it again asked for equation, enter something, it again asked, so I did some calculations. So here we are getting float. We can convert this into an integer function also, as if we require the whole number, but this is also okay as divide return some value. So let's do some raised to stuff, multiply, and then raised to 10. So you can see answer got printed, and now we want to exit, so I can put enter. So let's just print a message of exited calculator. Before breaking, we will print calculator stop. So let's just again run this file. The calculator started some equation, this will give an error, some equation, again something. You can also use the brackets to simulate some stuff, then multiply by something, again raised to 3. So we will get answer, and now we have to stop. We will press enter and calculator stopped. So this was a simple code. So this can also be used in the interactive mode. So that's all for this video. Let's see a new question in our next video.